I don't want to say there's any artistry to what I do on the website. It's very functional and scientific. But like a lot of artists that I've met, there's a vision of what I want the website to be, and then what I'm able to put together is always a percentage less than what I wanted it to look like.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep bringing comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Boy, it sure is another one of those I don't know where to start days.
Oh, I guess this is as good a place as any.
Oh, all right. Hey, it's the beginning.
Hey.
I guess I'll start by saying that I think C2E2 is a tremendous boon to the city of Chicago. I think it is a very welcome part of the comic book scene. I think that to a person, everyone I've ever met who works for Reed Pop has been nothing but the best people, really good at their jobs, except Kyle. That was a joke specifically for any C2E2 people who were listening to this, which there potentially are. And I think it's a great show. I have a good time as a fan every year. I have a good time as a member of the comic book community and the industry of comics. I am glad that it exists. I thought you'd intuitively say, but...
The end, period. No more about C2E2. So anyway, however...
I think you can guess what I'm going to say.
Patrick has had a very difficult time meeting certain celebrities that he's very excited to meet.
Oh, no, nothing to do with that at all.
No? C2E2 ticket sales are kind of a hassle.
That is the very nicest way to say it.
C2E2 ticket sales are kind of a hassle.
Hate selling tickets.
Yeah, the last 10 days before any C2E2 is non-stop phone calls about C2E2 tickets. The people who call up almost to a person seem to know that there's a convention but don't know any other details and are hoping you can fill them in on all those details over the phone.
They have a lot of questions about the show that we can't answer or don't want to answer.
Yeah, or frankly are not the best avenue with which to direct those questions. For example, C2E2 has a website. C2E2 has an app. C2E2 has, I'm sure, a presence on Facebook and Twitter. And a variety of places where you can go to find these answers beyond just calling us and, I'll be honest, making us stop what we're doing to answer these questions. Here's the thing that I think next year maybe we will make clearer to people. We offer C2E2 tickets for sale at Challengers as a courtesy to the community.
Yes.
Like, we don't, and let me make this abundantly clear, and I'm not going to phrase it any more flowery than this. We don't make any money selling C2E2 tickets. And we've heard from a few people this year that they thought they were doing us a favor by holding off on their ticket purchasing until buying it at the store. And we had to inform them, hopefully politely, that they should not have done that because we are not making any money. In fact, we lose money on every ticket sale that people buy with a credit card at least.
Yes. We will never not sell tickets, but I strongly believe next year we will just be offering them for cash only.
Yeah. As you pointed out, we're very lucky in that next year's C2E2 will probably coincide with the new ATM kiosk being open at the end of our building.
Yeah, right? So if people don't have cash, oh, there's an ATM over there.
You've got a credit card? Good news.
But we'll make it clear, all of our signage will say that. If anybody calls and says, do you sell tickets? We do, but they're cash only.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just get that right up in the front. And just, I don't, and I'm a jerk, we've all established that. Anybody who's listened to this podcast, which is a comics industry business discussion about the business of running a comic shop in Chicago, Illinois, hosted on the Yak Channel Podcast Network in Chicago. Anyone who's listened to previous episodes know that I can be insensitive and blunt. I forgot where I was going, but I think that's a pretty good blanket statement. We can leave it at that.
Yeah.
But here it is.
Okay.
I don't feel bad for anybody who is rushing to do this because we've been selling tickets since December.
Yeah. It's always the way, though.
I know.
Those last 2 weeks...
And no one will ever learn.
Suddenly it's a lot of, like, the tickets are almost sold out. I got to make sure I get them. Like, we've had them.
Here's just one tiny exchange from today. Customer's in, buys a 3-day pass. A few hours later, calls in. Hi, can you set aside 2 Saturday passes for me? No, I can't. It's against the terms of our contract with ReedPop. We cannot hold tickets. Oh, okay. Hour later. Yeah, I just bought a 3-day pass today. Can I return it? No, you sure can't. Same person all 3 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and I talked a little bit about this at the store this week. Because we know we're not making any money selling these tickets, and we're doing it, what we feel internally is largely as a courtesy, the more barriers that are put up, or the more hoops that we have to jump through to provide this service to the local comics fans, makes us more testy. And I have an awareness, at least this year, where I feel like I'm being more short with people who are just buying tickets and are doing it in a way where it's making me lose my time and energy at the store, when I could be doing other things and I have to stop and do these ticket things, where in their minds, they're making a purchase at the store. Like, to them, a C2E2 ticket is the same as buying $75 worth of comics. So the idea that we would be difficult in any way with them, I'm sure is a shock. So I wish there were an easier way to tell people, like, we're doing you a favor by having these. Like, we could just as easily not have them and save ourselves a lot of money and save ourselves a lot of trouble, but we're doing both of those things to provide these tickets. But there's no way to impart that information cleanly to people. Like, part of it is not their problem, and part of it is there's no way to do it without sounding super passive-aggressive like I just did.
And there's always the hope that people who are coming in to buy tickets, who maybe haven't been to the store before, will discover the store and maybe buy something, and every once in a while, they do.
Yeah, the majority of those are either people who are coming in just to get tickets, or people who are in shopping normally and are getting their tickets at the same time. There's usually not a group of easily identifiable people who don't come in regularly, came in for their tickets and went, wow, I want to get comics while I'm here.
Yeah, most people are saving their money for the show.
Sure.
Now, there may be some of our retailer brethren and sisterin, Slytherin, either way, that may contest a bit of what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
To that, all I can say is, you don't know our truth.
Yes.
Our truth, by the way, is a very entertaining wrestler in WWE.
Neat.
It's not the WWE, by the way. It's just WWE.
Weird. But it is the WWE universe?
No, we are the WWE universe.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, there are circumstances which we are not discussing that cause everything we've said earlier to be completely factual for us.
Yes. And who knows, maybe there's a possibility that those
circumstances
factors won't be in place next year, and taking credit cards for C2E2 tickets won't be as much of a problem, but the last few years it definitely has been. I don't know. We'll find out.
Will we?
Yeah. But yeah, in the meantime, this time of year is a very frantic one where every phone call is about C2E2 tickets, and every phone call is, do you have these tickets? I just have to stop and say, we've got all the tickets. Like,
yeah,
there's
how many do you have? Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that.
Yes, a bunch.
Gina pointed out she loves the people that come up and say, yeah, can I get a C2E2 pass? Yeah, what one?
Yeah. No, that's... A lot of this week has been I'm here to get a C2E2 pass. Huge pauses, I just kind of stare at them. What days? Oh, one Saturday. Okay, we'll say that. Like, you clearly knew the days, you knew which day you wanted to go.
I still haven't looked over the guest list to see who I'm looking for in Artist Alley. But, again, I'm looking forward to the show.
Sure.
It's not their fault that Matt Smith canceled.
Probably not.
No, he's a busy guy, and honestly, I'm fine. I mean, I don't normally do photo ops, but longtime listeners may know that I bought a David Tennant photo op at Wizard World 2017, only to have him canceled 2 days before.
For a good reason.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not begrudging anyone who cancels.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, C2E2 had announced both David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Matt Smith from Star Wars, allegedly.
And I believe Terminator is what you meant to say. I'd even gotten an email from one of the higher-ups at C2E2 saying, hey, you can finally meet David Tennant. So I bought a photo op with both of them, and Matt Smith just canceled today. That's fine. I mean,
Sure.
that's how things go. And that's certainly not Reed's fault.
No.
But that is what Dow was alluding to at the start of this podcast when
Yes.
to quote Dow, came in hot.
Uh-huh.
It's just that the people, man, I think it's great that they're comic book fans. I don't know, this is going to sound so mean, Dow, so mean.
I'll allow it.
I don't know how so many of these people operate in life. We had a guy in today who was first of all, he was so baked.
Mm-hmm.
So baked that other people were commenting on how very strong the odor around him was. When customers are commenting, it's a thing.
Yep.
Kept trying to hold his pants up because they were falling down. Had a giant wad of keys.
Okay.
And immediately comes in and immediately beelines into sidekicks, which always makes me suspicious.
Sure.
And I was standing at the side counter. So I'm watching him in the mirror as he interacts with Batman.
Uh-huh.
As in, touches him,
Okay.
puts his hand on his chest, starts feeling his face. Then he goes over to Spider-Man and starts doing the same thing and starts doing the hand on his head to Spider-Man to see who's taller
Okay.
and touching it again. And so I'm doing a little bit of a commentary for the people that were around the counter. And then, of course, he comes out and sees Deadpool.
Okay.
Then he doesn't leave because I assume he just saw Batman walking by and had to go see what was up.
Mm-hmm.
Then he walks around and he comes back with a Power Rangers comic saying, "Do you have more Power Ranger comics?" I'm like, yeah, they're all right where you got that.
Yep.
So he walks away with his pigpen-like pot cloud following him. Then he comes back and says, "Do you have any Power Ranger graphic novels?" I'm like, yeah, they're in the superhero section right over here, down under M for Mighty Morphin. And I'm not helping him because he's a little bit, he's very, very enthusiastic, but he smells really bad of pot.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a little abrupt, and I was already in discussion with people at the front. He, for the love of God, could not find the Power Ranger books.
Great.
And after looking around for a while, he comes back up and has to ask again. So Jeannie goes to help him.
Uh-huh.
And the person that I was talking with said, when you pointed to the superhero side and said, look under M, he went to the exact opposite side of the books. I did have somebody... so we're out of Nick DeMasso's Sabrina again.
Okay.
Because we have it set to 0 quantity in the to not reorder.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I wonder how that happened.
I changed that.
Okay.
Because I had someone looking for it. I'm like, yeah, of course we do.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we don't.
We had a whole bunch of copies before.
And the person that he was with was like, do you also have Full Metal Alchemist? And we were standing, by the
The manga section?
drama section.
Okay.
And I go, yeah, just turn this corner, and it's right here on this side. She goes back, it starts with J. You said it would be under F? I'm like, yeah, no, it's manga right here. You went all the way around to the superhero side. It's just this sign here. Brand new manga signs that were put on this morning as well.
That's okay, no one looks at this.
I know. I like that you have to pass the manga section to get to
The wrong side.
The wrong side, yeah, but whatever. And then that guy looked around and said thank you and left. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger guy, not Sabrina guy.
Okay.
Sabrina guy also left, but because I'm like, I might be at it in between printings. No? Oh, we sold it back in February and never reordered it. Okay.
Weird.
Yep. I changed it. I set quantity to 2.
Okay.
Oh goodness, it was that kind of a day. I am a little bit testier than normal. Actually, I don't know that that's true. I'm a little more caught. Shut up! You like that little...
Seems pretty normal to me.
Yeah, right? I don't know if I sound different right now, but I have an ice pack on my face because I had jaw surgery on Wednesday. Some of you who were in Wednesday night saw the after effect of that. It is 2 days in, and I'm just starting to remember what having a mouth that doesn't taste like blood feels like.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool.
Pretty good. I have cadaver parts in my mouth. They had to put parts of a dead person in my jaw, which is interesting. I have only had a few urges to bite living human flesh, but I had that before the surgery anyway.
Mm.
The weird part is rubbing my tongue against the stitches.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah. It was, my face is swollen and visibly enough for a person or two to mention it today. And I'm supposed to have iced it off and on every 15 minutes for the last 2 days. You can't do that.
No, too busy.
Well, A, need to sleep.
Sure.
B, have to work.
Yeah.
Hard to do that. But my mouth hurts more today than it did yesterday because I didn't use it a whole lot yesterday. But I used it a whole lot today. What with the talking and all that.
Sure.
So I like how you're just being monosyllabic right now and making me do all the talking.
Sorry, I was thinking about something else and I got a little lost in my own head.
Something to talk about on the podcast?
Definitely not.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Sorry.
This is podcast time, Dal.
Sorry.
So in previous weeks, we've been talking about emails from publishers. And last episode, I talked about doing an experiment and recording every single email we got from a publisher for a week, which I did. However, it seems like Marvel Comics had listened to our last podcast and only decided to take away the email information as a result. Like, not any of the publishing things we complained about.
Sure.
Not about, making .hu issues
Nope,
or
none of that.
leaving chapters of, like, the Hunted prequel off of the Hunted checklist for whatever reason.
For whatever reason.
But this week, they only, aside from their weekly Marvel mailer to retailers, they only sent one extra email the entire week that I was recording, which was Wednesday through Tuesday. Since then, since I stopped recording, we got like 4.
Huh. Yeah, they definitely know.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to... I have this, if you can hear that, that's my paper. I had 2 pages worth of emails that I saved, and what I did was I just saved the time of day, the publisher, and the subject heading of the email. However, I feel it's boring to just read that off.
Sure.
Suffice it to say that it was such a weird week with all of the things we normally complain about not necessarily happening, but I'll give you one day, for example, okay? Let's do Friday. Now, Dal, what, as a comic book retailer, some might say professional in the comics industry, some might say, what would be your preferred day to get publisher emails?
God, I don't know. Monday or Thursday, probably?
Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Tuesday is the busiest, and Wednesday is also busy.
Yeah.
So here's Friday. Here's an example of Friday's emails. 6:53 a.m. from Image. The Image Comics FOC, the final order cutoff list for March 11th. Just a text file listing all the books that'll be order adjustable. 8:29 a.m. Zenoscope. Subject, new #mail led series from Zenoscope. I don't know why mail was hashtagged.
Just because it's not what people think of when they think of Zenoscope.
Yeah, I guess. 10:49 a.m. Valiant Entertainment. Free massive Fallen World #1 die-cut standee storms into your store. 11:20 a.m. Dark Horse. Dark Horse Dispatch number 622, which is their weekly email to retailers. 11:45 a.m. Corey Hart from Image. Buy one, get one Best of 2018's hardcover sale, Section 0 #1, and more, which is basically their weekly email. 11:47 a.m. Dynamite. Dynamite FOC for March 11th. 12:01 p.m. Esther Kim from Boom. March 13th, 2019 releases, which is their FOC email. 12:05 p.m. Chris Staros from Top Shelf. Hannah Templar's Cosmo Knights has arrived. So he's picking a book for the month and saying, hey, here's my stuff. We get probably 1, maybe 2 emails from Top Shelf a month. 12:59 p.m. Esther Kim from Boom. Boom Studios announces presence at WonderCon Anaheim 2019. Okay, we got Emerald City right now and then C2E2, but okay, let's talk about WonderCon. 1 p.m. Action Lab Entertainment. The trial of Spencer and Locke begins this May in Action Lobs. Spencer and Locke #2. Spencer and Locke 2 #2. They're not announcing a new series, they're just talking about the
next
second
issue
part.
in a highly anticipated by folks.
1:06
series.
p.m. Boom. Boom Studios 311 FOC. Zombie Apocalypse is a very dangerous day in Rocco's Modern Afterlife #1. 3:03 p.m. Dynamite. Dynamite May Retailer Variant Cover Program. 3:48 p.m. DC Entertainment. DC Entertainment Direct Channel Special. for March 8th. Now, in fairness to DC, they did not have a normal direct channel that week. They just had that one.
Weird.
They usually just do a direct channel, maybe usually on Wednesday, and then maybe a special on Thursday or Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have a normal one this week, just that one.
Sure.
3:59 p.m., Esther Kim from Boom. Your first look at Rocco's Modern Afterlife from Boom Studios. 4:08 p.m., Esther Kim from Boom. New password, March 13th releases, preview pages, and blah, 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 more. 4:28 p.m., Andrea Towers from Marvel. Relive Marvel's legendary tales with True Believers Spider-Man. 6:42 p.m., Morgan Perry from Boom. Boom Studios, 311 FOC, Zombie Apocalypse is a very dangerous day in Rocco's Modern Afterlife. So that is a one day, and it was 17 emails. And let's see, we had Image, Zenoscope, Valiant, Dark Horse, Dynamite, Boom, Top Shelf, Action Lab, DC, Marvel represented.
It's a lot.
Who did I miss? Yeah, I don't think any
IDW?
Oni, IDW. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a lot.
I will say that Saturday and Sunday of the week were 0 emails both days. And I will also say that this list that I was keeping was specifically publishers, not creators. It wasn't a creator saying, hey, I've got a new book, check it out.
Right.
Usually Image passes on their mailing list to creators to get a hold of retailers, which I'm fine with. Not from distributors like Diamond or Baker and Taylor. Mm-hmm. Not from Kickstarter, which there were multiple Kickstarter emails from comic creators. Not any of our promotional partners or like Terminus Tees or anything Specialty Store Services. All of those have emails that come out regularly. And I'm certainly not counting anything that I got as a fan, not a retailer. Mm-hmm. Like I get Marvel does it once or twice weekly email about new comic releases or new TV or movie things.
Sure.
So none of that counted. It was just the publisher emails. I do know people in comics who are on the publishing side who, if they can get their email inbox like under 500 emails, they think it's a great day for them. Mm-hmm. And mine is nothing like that. But I just wanted to give an example of a day of emails in the industry.
It is a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of it is repeated information, which I understand you need repetition to get people to understand things. And we can repeat things till we're blue in the face. For example, hey, we send out an email every month that lists things like, someone at the counter today saw Batman Turtles 3 and said, oh, Batman Turtles 3? Can I get down for that? Yeah, you would have already gotten an email about this.
There were a whole lot of people in the last 3 days that have been saying, hey, I want to add Spider-Man Life Story by Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley. And not all of them, but most of them are people who subscribe to Amazing Spider-Man who all got an email 6 to 8 weeks ago saying there's a new Spider-Man miniseries called Spider-Man Life Story. Here's the first cover. Here's the solicitation text. Here's who's working on it. And they didn't do anything about it then. But the Wednesday to Friday before release, they all wanted to add it.
Yeah. I mean, what we should do, mm-hmm. and we should not do this, mm-hmm. and what I'm sure some listener already has done, is make a list of our recurring topics.
Sure.
So we can just check off.
Sure.
It's
never going to get any better. And as always, I feel a little bad even bringing it up because what I'm complaining about is that people are adding books to their subscription list that they're excited about, but they're not doing it in the way I would like.
Right.
Which, I mean, they're doing it. They don't have to do it. I don't know that I would do it, but they're doing it, so that's great.
I think you would do it. I mean, I
don't think so.
I think if you were a customer at a store like Challengers, never having worked in the comics business but being a comics fan, first of all, I think you specifically would be already in the know of these things.
I can tell you for a fact how I would operate if I were just a customer.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would have a subscription because there are several titles that I read regularly that I would need to have waiting for me that I don't want to risk a store not stocking or not having or running out of. So, yeah, there's a small variety of titles, probably less than a dozen, that I would actually, like, these I need on my list. I have to get them every month. I don't want to miss an issue. Pretty much everything else, I would only subscribe to the first issue.
Okay.
I wouldn't subscribe to a series without having read the first issue. I subscribe to the first issue, I read it, then if I like it, I subscribe to the series. But I would not blindly subscribe to a series.
And I'm absolutely fine when people do that.
Sure.
But I know for a fact that less than half of the people remember to add the title.
Yeah, and I'm only saying I would do it because I would make it a point to read that first issue within the first week of release and then decide if I wanted to add the series so I could make sure it goes on my list in plenty of time.
Wait, you would read comics for enjoyment?
I would. I do.
Yeah, you do. I know.
But yeah, I totally understand why someone would be reluctant to subscribe to a series without having read it, but yeah, there's very few books that I would just be like, well, if it's in the store, I'll check it out. Because what if it's not in the store, you know?
Right. Yeah, and that, like I was saying, you would already know what was coming out.
Right.
You would most likely be as up-to-date in your knowledge as you are now working in the industry.
Maybe.
We had somebody already call today and ask if they could add Superman Year One. But, like, what is the format that's coming out in? It'll be in the next previews.
Wait for next Friday when it's in the catalog.
It's already in the system. It's a $25 hardcover.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't come out until September.
Sure. Well, that's because the actual 4-issue series doesn't start till June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure that it was... Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a 4-issue series.
That's
I don't
so
know
weird
how
that the
big
hardcover
each
is
issue
already
is.
listed in Diamond's system then.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it hits that date if they're planning it out, but yeah, I wouldn't. With a DC Prestige format series, and I'm saying Prestige format in the sense of it is a book that has prestige to it, not is literally in a prestige format.
Right.
Those always run late.
I'm not...
Where are we at on Doomsday Clock? How late did
mean,
Mr. Miracle run?
It's John Romita Jr. and he hasn't been doing anything else simultaneously, so, like, if you gave him a month, he'd have that book done.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's even been given a month yet. I don't know how much time he's been given at all.
That's true.
I don't know where the scripts are at.
We had somebody who is probably was called recently to come in and get their books.
Sure.
Wondering where Batman Damned 3 was.
Uh-huh.
And then we had somebody else email asking about Batman Max number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to be like, oh yeah, that didn't come out yet.
Sure.
Did you see the reply?
I did, yeah.
The best part is they were asking for number 4 because they thought it was coming out in February.
Uh-huh.
So it's listed as coming out the 3rd week of April. And then number 5 is listed as coming out the 4th week of April.
Yep.
I bet that doesn't happen.
Probably not going to happen.
Bet it doesn't happen. So we're doing this sales battle you may have heard about.
Oh, yeah, the Little Bird sales battle with All-Star Comics in Melbourne.
Yeah. And
Melbourne, Australia.
It's a book that I'm firmly behind. Dal's a big fan of the art. We're offering a money-back guarantee, which we do maybe once a year, maybe twice a year.
Not on a regular basis, but
No.
when it's a book that we feel like we're not going to have to be given a lot of money back, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we had someone return it today. Someone who bought it yesterday.
Okay.
Someone, I'm like, oh, you didn't like it? No, it was okay.
You just want your money back?
Okay. Yeah, it's too much like We Stand on Guard.
I can see that.
I mean, I was using that in part of its build-up.
Yeah, I mean, a Canadian resistance that's trying to topple a oppressive invading American military. Yeah, I can see a little bit of similarity there.
But just you didn't like it? It was okay. Oh, all right.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, fine.
Didn't like it enough to not want their $4 back.
And there are... so watching you pitch it to people is great. You're
Sure.
great at it. And because this
I've done
is
this
really...
before.
Well, sure, but also there are no stakes to this.
No.
This is not like we don't care.
No, for sure.
You know, when you're pitching the sale on somebody, that's a big deal.
Sure. Yeah,
But when
with
you're...
this, if someone says no, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
You didn't write it. You didn't draw it.
No.
But there are people that I would be like, I'm not going to pitch this on.
I will be honest with you and say that I did not pitch it to everybody.
Well, sure.
Although there were, like... Obviously, if someone's getting other Image stuff, I'm going to say, hey, there's this other Image series. Or if it's someone who's getting a bunch of number 1s or new series, I'm going to go, hey, there's this new series.
Yeah.
But occasionally it's someone who's getting very specific new material that I don't know if it would be worth pitching it to them without it being sort of awkward, without having to kind of decline it in a way that doesn't ostensibly hurt my feelings, even though, again, I'm not emotionally invested in this, so it's fine to say no. But there were a couple people where it was largely superhero stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I went, hey, there's this other book. And, like, one guy did pick it up, and as he was picking it up, he's like, yeah, maybe I'll broaden my horizons. And it's like, yeah, maybe you will.
Nice.
Maybe you'll find some new stuff to like beyond Marvel and DC superhero comics. Everybody has to start somewhere. We had someone who was down in the subscription service for... It was, like, Marvel superhero stuff, but they transitioned away from that entirely. The IDW Transformers comics and Sex Criminals.
Yeah.
Because Molly Jane had recommended Sex Criminals to them. I don't even know why. I don't know why that one book was like, you're going to like Sex Criminals because you get, like, Amazing Spider-Man and Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. I don't know what about Sex Criminals said, this is the book for you. I think maybe we had it on the counter and we were pitching it because it was brand new. And so he had asked about it and she had pitched it in a way where he's like, yes. So that is now his only book on his list. The only thing he gets is Sex Criminals.
Do you know why I love you telling this story so much?
Why's that?
Because I just told the story.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Oh, hilarious. That's super funny.
Isn't it? Oh, it hurts. I shouldn't laugh.
He also did not want to be added to the new Transformers series, which is decent.
Yeah, and I feel bad for books like Assassin Nation, which is great. Sure. Really funny, really over the top.
Yeah.
That we're not giving it as much attention because of Little Bird.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's Transformers from this week. There's Batman Who Laughs, The Grim Knight, which I'm sure is a stellar book on every level. I just haven't had a chance to read it.
I think I probably liked it better than the average issue of Batman Who Laughs.
There you go.
I'll say that much.
And was there something else new this week? I don't know. Something else. Oh, Ms. Marvel.
Yeah. The Magnificent Ms. Marvel #1.
Which I just want to call the Marvelous Ms. Marvel every time.
Sure, why wouldn't you?
Right?
Yeah, I know we've brought up before the idea of there's only so much bandwidth to pitch people on something at a front counter. My go-to for how I don't want the customer interaction at the counter of Challengers to be is GameStop. Which when you go in and you buy literally anything, they have like an 8-point list of things they are required to go over with you about subscriptions and trade-ins and pre-orders and everything else. And I understand that they're an employee who is required by people much higher above the chain than like a local manager to do these things. But it doesn't make me as a customer feel any better about having to be pitched to in that way corporately. So I always try and keep that in mind where, like, if we're at the counter, I can tell you about one comic. I'm not going to make you stand there and listen to 3 different pitches on 3 different comics when you're buying $15 worth of comics. Like, that's disproportionate. You don't need 3 different pitches. So one book. I can tell you about one book. And sometimes we have a variety of things. So it's like, oh, I can pitch this person on Little Bird, and this person I can pitch on Ms. Marvel, and this person. But even then, there's only so much space in my head to keep all these different things while I have less than a minute to go over this with someone as they're checking out. Which is why my Little Bird pitch is as brief as I can make it.
Give it!
Hey, I just want to let you know that we are offering a special deal on this week's new Little Bird #1. It's a 5-issue Image Comics sci-fi action series. Artwork is gorgeous. It's $3.99 for the first issue. It's oversized. And if you don't like it, we're offering a money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll buy them all.
Yeah. So it's hitting basic things. Like, I'm not trying to explain the story, because that's more information than you need.
Right.
The information you need is that it's a 5-issue series, it's a brand new #1, it's an oversized first issue for $3.99, so you're getting more content than you normally would, and most importantly, saved for last, it's a money-back guarantee. I'm not telling you the story, I'm not mentioning the sales battle, we have that up by the book, but I don't want to pitch this to people as you gotta help us win this. Like, no you don't. You need to buy the book if it sounds interesting to you.
The idea of the sales battle came about as a way for each store to give this book a little bit more exposure.
Yeah.
Because it's the kind of book that, without a push, could easily fall through the cracks.
Yeah. I never ever want the reason why someone buys a comic at Challengers to be that they think they're doing us a favor. Like,
yeah, we want to be doing them a favor.
yeah, I want you to buy a book because you're excited about it or because it looks interesting or because you want to read it. Not out of some sense of obligation to us for any reason. Like, that's ridiculous. That should never be part of your decision making.
I will say that immediately after that person returned their copy, the next person at the counter who was already buying it, grabbed that copy and said, "I'll buy this one too." I'm like, what? Why? Don't buy two.
Why?
Because they were going to a friend's house and they're going to give it to their friend.
That's cool. That's nice.
All right.
I hope that friend appreciates that.
Yeah. I'll take it. That's a very, very kind gesture.
Yeah, for sure.
I can say that as of the end of the day today, we have gone through half of what we ordered.
Okay. Sold, you mean, out the door? Or does that include held copies?
That includes... There are still 8 copies on hold, and I think 1 in the hold box.
Okay. Is that part of your figure? Like, do those count as...
I just looked at the...
How many copies we have left?
Yeah, which was 3 less than half.
Okay. So that's... you looked at it on the manager screen or on the item description screen?
Manager screen.
Then that does not count copies in the box.
Okay. Wait. Does not count it in which
Yes,
way?
I'm sorry. The copies that are in boxes would be out the door, so to speak.
Okay. Well, it definitely doesn't count the one that's on hold because they're not in the
Right.
system anywhere.
That's true.
And I was talking to Mitchell from All Star last night, and they were. I don't know what. Just based off of our Wednesday numbers, they were a few copies ahead of us.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know how well we did on Thursday, but I'm guessing 0. But no, Thursday was not 0.
Okay, that's good.
Obviously, it's -1 now.
Yes, -1.
But I was talking about how what was I like? Basically, it feels like we're each playing a role in this. Like, Challengers is the bully, and All-Star is the scrappy underdog.
Oh, really?
Well, in all social media, I'm the one who's attacking,
Oh, okay.
and their responses are usually like the, hey, or why I oughta, like that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I'm trying to find funny ways to talk about us being better. Like, I used your congratulations in advance on selling the second most copies of,
Sure.
and that led to a back and forth, which I thought was pretty entertaining.
That's
but
good.
each time they're taking it as the, oh, you guys. And then we're doing something, we're doing a favor for some creators for C2E2. And one of them had posted, like, oh, Challengers is the best on Twitter. And All-Star had said, yeah, the best at coming in second for selling. And I said, oh my God, you guys, that was great. You finally had something funny to say about this. I knew you could do it. I didn't think it would take this long.
Sure.
But I knew you could do it. I'm proud of you. And I'm also proud of you for coming in second.
Yeah. I'm sure they were very fast with that comeback because they weren't selling as many copies of Little Bird as we were. Hello.
So that's the kind of...
Hello.
Oh, God, it hurts. That's the kind of stuff we're doing publicly.
Sure.
But so we're talking about this.
Privately, I would be shocked if we won.
Yeah. Well, also...
Privately? I don't think we have a chance.
When I was talking last night, I had said, like, hey, when it's all said and done, I don't think I want us to say, hey, All-Star sold this many or Challenger sold this many. I would just like to say, and All-Star wins by 5 copies.
Sure.
What? Oh, and then Mitch had said, All-Star wins by 5 copies. That's really not you playing the bully right now. And I go, there's no percentage in me being a bully to you in a private chat.
Right.
And he goes, this whole thing does feel a little like wrestling.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, it does.
He wants you to keep it kayfabe.
We're playing characters, and there's a predetermined outcome of Challengers winning. Oh yeah, I guess I can bully you in private as well. I said it. I didn't say it well enough, but I was happy by it's wrestling because it's predetermined that we are winning.
You are living your gimmick.
Yeah, but no, I mean, you and I both went into this thinking they're gonna outsell
for
us.
sure. Yeah, I mean, I'd like us to be competitive. I obviously don't want to get blown out of the water, but yeah,
they have a much bigger store.
Yes,
and what I feel is a much larger clientele. But in the beginning, I think we talked them into ordering as many as they did, and they wound up ordering as many as we did.
Sure.
So this is a very even playing field.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been fun, and the point of it was getting more eyeballs on this book, which we've already done. We both stores have already done.
Hopefully.
So in the end, It's the customers who are the winners,
As always.
as always.
As always.
Yeah, and it's been fun and funny,
That's good.
and I hope people are enjoying it. And I was worried that customers would get involved and be a little bit too rambunctious. Not really.
Well, that's good. Yeah, as long as people can keep it friendly.
Yeah.
With the internet, you never know how seriously people are going to take certain things and how far they're going to take it outside of the realm of good-natured ribbing.
All right, Dal. Here's going to be a segue you're going to love.
Love it.
You talked about the internet
Speaking of ribbing.
and taking it.
Uh-huh.
Where, as a person who has a connection to the World Wide Web,
Do you
where
mean an Ethernet port?
do you take the internet?
Where do I take the internet?
Yes, generally.
How do I interact with the internet?
Yeah.
Obviously, like a lot of people, I have a magic rectangle in my pocket that has access to the internet on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read a lot on my phone, and I don't do a lot of like long form web diving on my phone. I don't enjoy that part of the process.
When you say web diving, what does that mean?
I mean, like sitting in front of a web browser and clicking a bunch of links and reading a bunch of stuff,
But
and,
like
and opening
what,
tabs.
But clicking a link to a what? Like what? Where do you go?
Mostly, I use Feedly as a way to.
Nope, that's not what I'm asking.
Okay. Porno.
No, more generally. Like, so you open a browser. Where do you go?
Oh, Chrome? Do you mean like
No, like
a
you use
website?
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
A website, Patrick.
You use the internet to connect to a website.
It's like Facebook, but if it were only about one thing.
That was my wonderful segue to mention that Challengers has a brand new website.
We do, yes. It is something I am 85% happy with, which is a substantial improvement from
Everything else in life.
this past Monday where I was working on it, and Sunday night I was 56% happy with it, and by Monday night I was like 75% happy with it.
I just think it's amazing that you started this Sunday.
Sunday night after work.
And
I ate dinner and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull some of this stuff down now and get started on it.
Less than a week later, you're 85% happy with it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I might have to open a support ticket with the people that we got the template from to go, I can't get it to do the thing that you're getting it to do. How did you get it to do that? But most of it works in a way that I'm comfortable with and I'm happy with, and it's more or less how I want it to look. I don't want to say there's any artistry to what I do on the website. It's very functional and scientific. But like a lot of artists that I've met, there's a vision of what I want the website to be, and then what I'm able to put together is always a percentage less than what I wanted it to look like based on my own
It's not what you see in your head.
skills and aptitude.
It's what you see out of your head.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, there were things I wanted the new website to do and ways I wanted it to look and things I wanted to highlight, and I was able to get it most of the way there, but not 100% of what I wanted it to do. Hopefully it's functional, though. I know it looks... I wish it was more cohesive in that we could make certain things look certain ways on certain devices and other ways on other devices.
I did play with it on my phone to see how it handles and maneuvers.
Yeah, there's some things I had to move around on the desktop version to get it to kind of display in the right way on phones. So it would, like, as you scroll, there's parts of the page that I don't think are as important, so I need that to be at the bottom of your scrolling on your phone. So that has to go then in a different place on the desktop to make sure that when you're looking at it on the phone, it doesn't put that stuff in the top or in the middle. It's more to the bottom. But yeah, hopefully people are navigating it okay and finding it fine. It was not a huge top-to-bottom retool so much as it's a reskinning. There's been other times where we've been more aggressive about recategorizing things and adding new content, I guess, more or less, or creating different things. This didn't really have any of that, so most of the old links, if not all of them, should still work just fine. If you have any old links to stuff that were in emails or whatever, like, all that stuff is still where it's supposed to be and should look more or less the same.
Yeah, I checked stuff like newreleases.challengerscomics.com, fine.
Yeah.
Challengers.events, fine.
Yeah, like the monthly catalog emails, that link should still work just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the events individually are still where they're supposed to be. It's mostly just kind of changing around how some stuff looked and how we populated some things. And like one of the things that's so dumb that I can't believe that we didn't make it more of a priority. We had limited certain elements of the menu to a sidebar in favor of bringing a spotlight to different things. And one of those things that we moved to the sidebar was the email sign-up thing. It was always there, but you would have to like open a tab to find it.
Yeah.
Now it's part of the menu
Top
bar
bar.
at the top, and we like immediately had people adding themselves to the mailing list
Right.
like within the first day.
Yep.
So it's like, oh yeah, I guess that should be something that's always accessible on the page. Always. Lesson learned. Yeah, everything else is just kind of just a visual cleanup more than anything else.
There was something I noticed today that I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I got to tell Dell about it. And I forgot.
It's okay.
I liked it, though.
I appreciate that.
It was a thing.
That's
It
cool.
was a thing, and it was on a page, and it was a thing with a button and a whatnot and,
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
weirdly, so there were a bunch of things that like Sunday night I got it to a point where like you can view the page, it looks ugly, but you can view everything. Like that took a couple hours to get it to that point. Then like Monday in the afternoon, I did the bulk of like cleaning it up and adding different things and tweaking some stuff to make it visually more pleasing. So you wouldn't necessarily know that there had been a ton of work done on it. Hilariously, like there was an image email that was sent out Monday morning, like before I started working on the website, that included a link to our website, and I'm like, "Oh God, don't look at it now! don't do that! It's bad now." But one of the things I wanted to do is add a little, like we have a widget for Twitter
Yeah.
where it's got recent tweets and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I want to add something for Instagram since we're posting a lot more to Instagram now. So there can be a little like Instagram widget gallery where you can see like recent Instagram images and click and go to their website, and look at Instagram on Instagram. That was the thing that took me the absolute longest of everything I had to do for the website.
Specifically Instagram?
Specifically the Instagram widget, because basically Instagram used to have a widget where you could populate it with like X number of posts. Then they moved it to just embedding one post.
Oh. And not the most recent post, but a specific
Yeah,
post?
like you can embed a tweet. It was the same way for Instagram, but there was nothing to look at your Instagram timeline. Like there's nothing to look at recent posts. You just pick one post and go embed that.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to find a third-party solution, and a bunch of stuff was like, sign up for our website, download this program, sign up for this service. And it was like, I don't want to do any of that. Like, I don't want to spend any money on this because it's just a trifle. Like, we're not, promoting our brand so much as we're just creating a way where people can engage a little bit more. Like, if we didn't have it, it's not like it's going to sink our business. So I don't want to put money into it. So finding like a more or less free solution that could do what I wanted it to do was so time consuming, because I'd have to download something, start working on it, and then go, oh, this doesn't look right, or it doesn't work right, or they want money now. And then I have to move on to another thing. And so I'm constantly downloading additional modules and plugins to try and get it to that point. And like the 7th one I downloaded was the one where I'm like, this is good enough.
Wow.
Yeah. That one thing where I'm like, oh, that'll be easy. I'll just grab some JavaScript and plug it in. Oh, no. Instagram doesn't do that anymore. Thanks, Instagram.
Yay! I bet that changed after they got bought by Facebook.
Maybe. Because there were a bunch of links to like, oh, go to the developer site. Yeah, those are old links because the developer site doesn't have that information anymore.
Yep.
Thanks. And there was really long stuff about like an API and get a token, and it's like, this is if you're a developer building an app or something. Like, I'm not doing any of this. This is way too much work for this thing.
It just has to be a way to show people that there is a Challenger's Instagram. They might get some amusement out of it.
I want to show 4 pictures. Just
Yeah.
the 4 most recent pictures. That's all I want to show. At the bottom of the page. Next to the Google map and the Twitter timeline.
You had talked about changing the About Us page a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't
Since
done
there's
it
a
yet.
lot of, but like a lot of different people. I've always liked, and we don't always do this, but I always like the, not the in memoriam section, but a nod to the people that used to be part of the store.
Sure.
Can we add like a little, like Challengers is
Is it names or pictures?
just names.
Yeah, names is easy enough.
Yeah, yeah, just names.
Yeah. Because we used to do it with pictures. Like, we
Right.
would move people from one section to another, and I don't...
No, yeah, just names.
Some of that stuff, we were doing at a point where I think we were putting a lot more time and energy into the website and trying to make that something that was more valuable, and it just reached a point where it felt like that was wasted energy.
Yeah.
So all
remember
that stuff...
that time where you made, well, when we were selling books online, and you and Donovan made every mentionable book a clickable link to buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we used to do reviews on the website. We used to have all of our photo galleries for every event we did.
Yeah.
Like, now we don't even take pictures of that stuff.
We don't. And we don't feel bad about it. Like, there's
not
one thing
really.
I wanted to do with Lucy last week, which I forgot, was just to repose the classic relish pose.
Sure.
But with the three of us,
Sure.
I forgot. I just forgot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's times where I think there's value to having that stuff of a website that's more historical based, where we have all these things. But, we've stopped doing that 5 years ago, so we've missed 5 years of historical content. But more importantly, it just feels like more work now.
Yeah.
I want to spend that time doing stuff that has more direct value for the business, not something that, makes me feel good about the store. Do you know what I mean? I don't want something that is for my ego. I want it to be something that's immediately demonstrably valuable.
Right. In the beginning, and for a few years, we would do a recap of events with photos and type and make up a little one sheet and hang it on the wall.
Sure.
Well, we stopped doing that because we ran out of wall space because we did so many events. We started putting them in binders. Now it's just the flyer.
Yeah.
And there's several events that don't even get flyers. We don't do flyers for every Women's Comics Night event because it's a monthly event.
Right.
We didn't do... we have random Magic the Gathering tournament flyers in our binders that don't have any years on them.
Yeah.
So I don't remember when those were.
Sure.
And there's just some signings we just never did flyers for. Some events we never did flyers
stuff that
for.
came together at the last minute where it's you can come in on a Wednesday, but we're not doing any promotion for it beyond
or we're
internet
not,
posts.
we're not doing flyers for midnight releases.
Right.
Stuff like that. By the way, how great is it that the Detective Comics number 1000 midnight release that's on
March 26th, 27th.
Wednesday, March 27th. It's now everything for the week.
Yeah, I was really glad. Marvel was the first one to get out in front and say, yeah, you can sell everything you want that night. And then the next day, Diamond's you can sell everything.
Yeah.
We talked to everybody. It's fine.
Pretty great.
Yeah, it saves us a ton of trouble.
Yep. Like it.
Because that means if you come in and you get your detective stuff, you can get all of your subscription stuff as well if you have anything on hold.
Not just your DC
Yeah,
books.
previously, we'd have to dig out your subscription stuff, separate out the DC or whoever else was participating, and then put back everything else. And then delete off the screen the other stuff that we couldn't sell you just yet. Now it's just get your stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to come back the next day either. It's all ready to go.
Isn't Marvel doing another midnight release the next week?
Yeah, the next Wednesday is War of the Realms #1, which we are not doing.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We agreed that we're only doing bigger things.
Yeah.
For the midnight releases.
Yeah, stuff where it's anniversary or where it draws out a more casual audience. War of the Realms, if you're buying Marvel stuff, sure, it's interesting, but I don't know that people are so anticipating War of the Realms #1 that they're going to make a special midnight trip or don't normally buy comics, but they got to get that War of the Realms #1.
Yeah.
I don't see that as a thing.
So we mentioned the midnight release for Detective Comics number 1000, but we have a couple other events, and some events that are just announced and some that were firmed up today and whatnot. Obviously, we're recording this in March, which is still Women's Comics Month, and at the time you hear this, there's still going to be 2 full weekends of women creators, women non-binary, and gender-neutral creators who are exhibiting for the next 2 weekends.
Yep.
Even though it's C2E2 that one weekend, this weekend, we're still at people both days. The Saturday of C2E2 week, we have 2 people that have never exhibited the store before.
Neat.
It's always exciting when we have new people for Women's Comics Month. And then we have 2 more on, just 4 more days from this point of Women's Comics Month. Obviously, every second Monday of the month is Women's Comics Night, except for in May that gets bumped to the 3rd Monday of the month. But we have, on Easter Sunday, it's called Champions Day, and it is an event between Trism Books and Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling and Challengers, where for the price of either Wrestling Dreams by Colt Cabana or Young Bucks Stand Tall by the Young Bucks, it's a 2-hour family activity day hosted by Marty and Sarah and Erica Weiss from the artist from Wrestling Dreams. And the tickets will be available on Eventbrite very soon. Well, probably by the time you read this, ish.
Yeah, hopefully.
But that is Easter Sunday from 2 to 4 for people that
April 21st.
are fans of the wrestling. We have officially posted our free comic book day announcements today.
Cool.
On the new website, and of course on the Facebooks. And Free Comic Book Day is a little bit different for challengers this year. We are opening up at 8 a.m. We're trying to make it so people that have to stand in line for hours when we open at 11 don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, usually on Free Comic Book Day we're open from 11 to 5. We are expanding our hours in both directions. 8 to late?
Yeah, it says 8 to
8
on the websites,
Okay.
but it could be later if we need to be.
Yeah, since we've never done this before, we don't want to do a thing where we're like, we'll be there till midnight. Like, what if no one comes in from 7 to midnight? I don't want
Yeah.
to be sitting there for 5 hours doing nothing. So, 8 to 8, if you're planning on coming in after 8 o'clock, maybe give us a call, see if we're still open. We might be.
I realize right now that I didn't mention anything about cosplayers in the events because we don't have anything firmed up.
No, yeah, there's a few people we got to talk to and some other folks. Well, we will have people.
Yeah.
We
But
just
what
don't
we
know who.
do have firmed up is from that 8 to 8 time period, in that 12 hours, there'll be 2 creators signing at any given point during those 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We have a host of creators who are coming in for 2 to 3 hour shifts to always have 2 people on hand, just doing quickie little free sketches for people.
Yeah.
And hawking some of their own personal wares. So
Yeah.
we're going to let them sell whatever they want. If you're interested to see who that is, that you can find that list on either challengers.events or challengerscomics.com/events or whatever click the events button.
Yeah, there'll be an events button near the top of
Yeah.
the screen. You can click on that.
Yeah. And then we have a release party in May on Monday, May 13th for the brand new Image Comics graphic novel, Little Girls. And it's a party, and that means alcohol. That means live entertainment. There are, well, first of all, the writer and artist and the creators of this book, Nicholas, I cannot pronounce his last name. I paused because I thought you were going to jump in and save me.
Definitely was not.
Definitely was not.
No.
And Sarah Delane, the co-creator and artist of the book. And I will know how to pronounce his name by the next time we record a podcast. We got a few months. We got 2 months to promote this. So they're doing a tour for this graphic novel, which is like a younger character coming of age / horrific monster in the forest story.
Yeah.
And they're doing a tour for this book, and Challengers is a Chicago stop. And one of the neat things they're doing is they're both big music fans, so they are getting some of their musical friends or bands they like from each city they go to play at this event. And oh my gosh, I just forgot both names of the bands. There are 2 bands that are going to be performing, and I forgot them both, and I was not so much prepared to talk about the details of this event, other than to say, hey, this event is happening, and we're not exactly sure on the time. I'm saying 7 o'clock in the stuff that we put online.
Catchy and Gentle Heat.
Catchy, K-A...
C-H-I.
Catchy.
Or possibly Kashi.
I was saying Kashi.
We can ask them when they're there.
And
Gentle Heat.
Gentle Heat. I wanted to say Gentle Bend, but that was wrong. Gentle Heat. On both our website and Facebook, there are links to music by both of these bands, so
Yeah, they're on Bandcamp.
Yeah, so you can hear them. They're both neat and different. So they're 2 different bands. But anyway, they'll be playing. Nicholas and Sarah will be hanging out, signing books if you want, talking comics, drinking with folks. And we realize it's a Monday night, but who doesn't want to start the week with a party?
Sure, especially in May.
Right. Come on. Speaking of drinking in the store, as a business owner, I have no qualms drinking on the job.
Okay.
I don't mind.
Maybe you sell better when you've been
I
drinking.
have been drunk in Challengers many, many times,
Sure.
and will be so again. Now, I don't do it all the time. However,
Thanks.
on occasion where Gina and I work together,
Uh-huh.
on Fridays, we like to have a thing I call Cocktail Fridays,
Uh-huh.
which is a misnomer because it's just beer.
Yep.
Starting at 5 o'clock, we'll drink. Well, I'm on antibiotics from my jaw surgery, so I wasn't drinking today, but Gina was, and there were 2 people who were in for C2E2 tickets, and they saw Gina drink, and they're like, whoa, you get to drink? You must be the owner.
Sure. Sure she is.
Yes, Gina is the owner because she can drink on the job.
Sure.
That's pretty great. Also, event-wise, this is a little bit far off, but Saturday, June 22nd, we will have Marcus Anasso and Jason Muir in for Voracious Appetite for Destruction #1. It's going to be a Saturday.
Of Voracious.
Yeah, the first chapter of the final part of the Voracious trilogy. And they're going to have a couple of fun bonus things for the Sunday. They always put out a nice little fun spread.
They do.
They're going to be at C2E2. They usually have like dinosaur skulls and toy dinosaurs and things.
Yeah.
They always have fun recipes in the book. There's a good chance one or both of them will be on this podcast leading up to that.
Neat. Sounds like Dale's getting some time off.
They will. Oh no, it's you're hosting that one. It's also Marcus Hunt is a big metal guy, but a much heavier metal than I listen to.
Oh yeah.
More like Viking and more Norwegian stuff and things like that. And I believe he does a metal podcast as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Ironically, that's the same date I'm going to see the Kings of Chaos tour out in Aurora, but it won't interfere with the signing.
Sure.
So yeah, things are shaping up for later in the year. We're not doing as many events, but we're trying to make them count.
Yeah, for sure.
We have 2 things that are not super close, but one that's a maybe and one that's a probably with 2 big name creators.
That's cool.
That we're pretty excited for, but they're nowhere near.
As always, I don't think I remember both of these.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask you after the podcast.
That's fine. You know one of them. You're thinking of one of them at
yeah,
least.
probably.
The other one has a book that has not been announced.
Okay.
Who knows when it'll be announced? I don't know. Hey, Dal, before we wrap up this episode of Contest of Challengers, is there anything coming out of ECCC this week that so far that you want to mention?
There were a couple things. I don't know how much of it's ECCC versus just a general, there is a new catalog coming out next week.
Okay. Which, honestly, that's all every convention is just, here's the announcements we're getting to the catalog.
Except C2E2, because that will be...
a week after, right?
The
catalog's already out.
Yeah, the catalog comes out the Friday of C2E2. So, I mean, there could be, like, classified
when you say it comes
stuff.
out, you mean goes up online.
Yeah, like the Diamond database and the previewsworld.com online catalog goes up Friday, March 23rd. 22nd? 22nd.
22nd.
The print catalog for previews comes out Wednesday, March 27th. The only stuff I can think of that's been announced, I'm sure there's plenty of things that I'm not remembering. The 2 that come to mind are the Black Hammer Justice League crossover.
Yes. God, that looks so fun.
Which sounds like it could be pretty fun. And it's got some great covers. Like, basically, Jeff Lemire looped in as many people that he's worked with as he could. So there's, like, a couple Andrea Sorrentino covers. There's a Jeff Lemire cover. There might be a Matt Kent cover. I don't remember. But there's a lot of cool-looking covers. And the premise is good. It's the Justice League and the Black Hammer characters. Looks like they trade worlds or something. I don't 100% know because I don't read Black Hammer anymore. I mean to.
So good.
People say good things. The other book was a new miniseries of undefined duration by Donny Cates and Tradd Moore.
Okay, I've not heard of this.
Silver Surfer Black.
Oh, interesting.
I had forgotten about this plot point, but it looks like in Guardians of the Galaxy #1 by Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw, the Silver Surfer gets thrown into a black hole by the Black Order.
Okay.
This is what happens afterwards.
Neat. Tradd Moore doing Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It looks really good. One of the covers is by Nick Bradshaw, which looks good as well. But Tradd Moore is like the whole reason to buy that book.
Yeah, definitely. I mean that is
pretty excited about that as a concept.
While I have never seen him do cosmic stuff, I guess New World is as close as it gets. I can only see him excelling in this world.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be an ECCC announcement or a C2E2 announcement. I feel like it's more likely for C2E2, but who knows?
I feel like it's about to be a Contest of Challengers announcement.
No, it's not an announcement so much as... So, people who picked up Marvel Comics this last week may have seen an ad that has no real content to it. It's this weird thing about how evolution and like adaptation or dominance, and there's nothing, like, there's not even a Marvel logo. It's just this weird, like, a typewriter font on a blank page.
Didn't even know it was a Marvel ad until we got that same ad in an email from Marvel.
Right. So, clearly Marvel's going to be announcing something. And clearly this is something they think is going to be a big deal because they're going with, like, a multi-tiered announcement structure. You know, they want to build this sort of hype and speculation for an announcement. Someone who is in thought Eternals.
Okay.
Which certainly is a possibility, considering the fact that there's going to be an Eternals movie coming out in a couple years if Marvel sticks to their current movie-making plans.
So let's have Uncanny Eternals and Once and Future Eternals.
Yeah.
And the Icarus, even though he just died, didn't he?
I have no idea. Maybe
He died in a Marvel book in the last year.
And similarly, if we don't have an announcement about a new Shang-Chi series by the end of summer, I'd be flabbergasted.
Yeah.
Considering they're already at the point where they're putting a director on that movie. Like, Marvel, if they're having a movie or a TV show, or even a character from a movie or a TV show, Marvel Publishing will have material available at least a year in advance. Because they want to have a couple collections of material available for people who've seen the movie, who will then pass that by in favor of something more iconic. Like, we're not selling a lot of The Life of Captain Marvel so much as we're selling Captain Marvel, Earth's Mightiest Hero, Volume 1 by Kelly Sue DeConnick, because that's the version.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't selling all of the various, like, Infinity books that have come out over the last 4 years. When Infinity War came out, we were selling Infinity Gauntlet. And a lot of it.
Yep.
And still selling it. And everyone's still selling it. So yeah, one theory is Eternals. The other theory, and one of the things I noticed when I was looking at the guest list for C2E2, is they're having a creator where I'm like, wow, I don't think he's done C2E2 in a while that I can remember. And it's frequently rumored X-Men showrunner Jonathan Hickman. It's going to be at C2E2 this year.
Huh.
So I thought, maybe this is where we finally get the payoff of the X-Men franchises being given over to Jonathan Hickman. He's got a new direction on it. This is where it all starts. It definitely... I mean, the X-Men franchise needs something.
Yep.
Like, it's doing well now. Uncanny X-Men is selling well, and I think the Matthew Rosenberg stuff has been really fun. But it is not at an A-list level yet.
No.
And as of March 20th, Disney and Marvel Publishing will own the X-Men movie rights again. So there's no reason why they won't immediately want to make that thing a big deal again this year. And not for the Dark Phoenix movie. But because Disney's going to be making X-Men movies, it's inevitable. If they don't already have a roadmap, they are feverishly scribbling down, Wolverine 2020 on, a whiteboard somewhere.
Sure. Yeah, all right. That is definitely a good indication.
Yeah. So maybe look for that. It could be ECCC. I feel like C2E2 is more likely for a Marvel announcement. I don't know how much Marvel does Emerald City as an announcement show.
Yeah.
At C2E2, they always announce some stuff. They usually have a pretty decent presence publishing-wise. So, yeah. What that ad is should probably be revealed. Hell, if it's not already, by the time you're hearing this, I would expect it by the end of March.
Yeah, good point. Since we were recording on day 2 of Emerald City.
Pre-CCC.
Well, it started Thursday.
Pre-CCC.
Right in the throes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I wonder... I imagine we will be recording next week before C2E2? I don't know. Who knows? You know what? Who knows? I don't know.
You make the call.
I don't know. So maybe we'll see you there.
Maybe. As always, if I see somebody wearing a Challengers t-shirt, they get a high five.
That's right. You don't realize how rare those are.
Redeemable only at C2E2, and only if you're wearing a Challengers t-shirt. It doesn't have to be the Challengers logo. It can be a I love you, but I've chosen comics t-shirt.
And just to illustrate how rare it is...
You're not wearing the right t-shirt.
See? I'm going for a high five, and Dal's not giving me...
Nope.
He is leaving me hanging.
Two criteria. C2E2, Challengers t-shirt.
Also, you don't know I'm not wearing a Challengers t-shirt. You can't see the t-shirt under this.
Are you wearing a Challengers t-shirt?
It's the black I love you, but I've chosen comics shirt.
Is it? Is it?
No, it's a DC Comics shirt.
You liar. How dare you lie to get a high five?
Oh, you gave me one anyway. Thanks, buddy.
That was a lie, too.
And thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
Another one.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.